Hello, hi everybody. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my live channeling on my channel. Um, so I have decided that for the first time tonight, I am not going to request people to be subscribers to ask questions. I did this before because I did not want to have any spammers asking questions. However, I feel like I was just limiting people from asking questions, like they didn't feel comfortable. So, I learn just like everybody else. I haven't been doing this very long, doing live videos for very long. I've only started at the beginning of the year, really, with these live channeling sessions. And I want to make sure that I accommodate everybody and that everybody who needs to get helped get helped. So while I'm waiting to see if anybody's going to join, I will tell you a little bit about what I do. So I'm a channeler, and what I do is all kinds of channeling. So for these sessions on Monday nights, I do direct channeling. This is what I call it. Which is to say, sometimes there's a bit of interpretive channeling coming in. So, for example, if I'm receiving any images in my third eye or anything like that, then I would step forward and interpret what needs to be interpreted, or I would explain what I see. It's more just about relaying what I see and what I understand it means. Hi, Cambria, welcome. Sure, joining us all the way from California, USA. Thank you, Cambria. So yes, I really want to make sure that this platform is a place where everyone's comfortable. And when I channel, I usually let the being come in through me completely. And this is also why I do my energy management. I ground, clear, and protect, and get additional protection. And I get my angelic guides to hold space so that we're all safe and we're all protected, and so that the messages can come through clearly as well. That's the other reason why. And then basically when you ask questions, you're asking the being who's coming through, a being of love and light. So you're asking them directly whatever you want to ask. So, whatever you need. That's why we're here, and it's to understand the universe more. It's to understand the world more. It is to really just, get an understanding of this third dimension that we're living in. And I work from a space of love, and I want everybody to feel the joy that I've experienced. And this is not to say that my life is perfect and easy. It isn't. But I've learned to deal with things a lot better, and my higher vibrational lifestyle just has helped me so much, and my connection to source and doing what I do. I just want to share the love. I want to heal. I'm also a healer, so I use my channeling for healing, and I actually have a healing team that channels through me. And then I also use my psychic gifts in healing. I'm an artist, so I use channeling in art, either with art readings, so that would be like a quick sketch, or with completed artworks. That's usually messages for the human consciousness. Okay, so let's see if anybody's got questions. Oh, great. Cambria's got a question. Okay, so my husband is here. Come say hello.
Hello, everyone. Sorry about my voice.
We've been suffering the last week from ascension symptoms. It's been pretty hectic. I think got hit 3 times with viruses. And this is strange for us because we're vegan and we, we're pretty healthy people. Let's put it that way. We pro natural. We're vegan. We haven't gotten sick in a long time. We don't get sick often. So yeah, and I was also sick. My daughter was sick, and it wasn't just a regular kind of virus. It was fatigue. It was stomach issues. It was sore throat. All kinds of things, and it was definitely confirmed by other professionals as well that it's ascension symptoms. So that was interesting. Anyway, I'm all better now. He's still recovering. But Anthony's here because he helps me when I go into trance and start channeling, especially when I'm doing the direct channeling. He helps by asking the questions on my behalf. Thanks, Cambria. It's good to see your face too. I'm sorry to hear that you've been unwell, Cambria. Yes, that's right. The energy's been very low. That's usually the biggest thing that people notice. So yeah, while I am channeling, I can sort of step forward and step back. I prefer to be more in the background so that the channeling that's coming through is direct and you're getting exactly the answers that you need. But sometimes, like I said, when maybe there's a vision that I need to share, then I step forward a little bit and just say what I'm seeing. Okay, so yeah, is there anything you want to add? Okay, let's see how it goes. Not sure who's coming through tonight. Take my glasses off, they irritate me a bit. Okay, last sip of my chicory tea. And just speaking of ascension symptoms, if any of you are experiencing it as well, like Cambria. Hi Melo, welcome. So Cambria says she's been suffering from the ascension symptoms. We've been suffering. I know Melo, actually we chatted this week and you were telling me about some of the ascension symptoms you were struggling with as well. So if anybody's got, anything to share around that, please go ahead and share. I'm sure Anthony would be happy to read your comments. So yeah, let's see who comes through tonight. Okay. All right. Higher dimensional beings of love and light. I'm here. I'm available. Only those that are here for the highest good of all may come through. But I am available so that you may speak directly to the people in this video. Thank you. And we're going to answer Cambria's question first. All right. Whoever needs to come through, the beings that would be the most beneficial for the answers that we have, the questions that we have here tonight, please come through. Good evening.
Hi.
Hello, lovely people.
Who are we speaking to?
You're speaking to Morowell.
Hi.
Michelle actually has a question about that because she's always struggled to get our name. We introduced ourselves the first time as Morowell, and later she understood it as Morowell. And we would like to say this truly doesn't matter. It is really just a name that we have assigned to the collective so that you know that it's the same group that you're speaking to every time. Okay, so whichever you feels more comfortable, Michelle, this is fine. Morowell is more what we think of, how we think of ourselves, but truly it doesn't really matter.
Great.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you. And can you tell us which dimension you reside in?
Yes, we're in the eighth dimension mostly. So it's a collective for those that have not been introduced to us before. We reside in the eighth dimension, and we do not really take physical form. And we are various species. Many of us are Pleiadian. However, there is not only Pleiadians in this collective, but a few other species as well. A lot of us has interest in healing, and as well as wanting to help the human consciousness ascend and grow, and really just want to help on a personal level as well as a collective level.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so our first question is from Cambria. So she wants to know, what are some tips for her to manage her time best for aiding in achieving a peaceful earth that is a vegan protopia?
Okay, I think it would be helpful to break that question up into parts. First, let's talk a little bit about veganism and plant-based eating. This is not a new concept. However, there are more people that are conscious of the effects of this now. And the idea of a vegan protopia is a wonderful idea and will eventually take prevalence and be more of a part of the mainstream society. However, it is not something that can truly be forced on people because for various reasons, many people have, for cultural and survival reasons, chosen to eat of the flesh of other beings. We as a collective, we do not eat at all. We only use energy. So for us, this is a very interesting topic. In the past, many of the beings have offered themselves up as food for humans when there was nothing else to eat. And this was all part of the experience that those beings wanted to experience, as well as teaching humanity certain lessons. However, as human society progresses and learns more and becomes more aware of energy and all of the things pertaining to living in a third dimensional existence and everything pertaining to unconditional love and really caring about all beings, this is much more preferential. And it is also, when eating plants, the energy is a lot purer. Plant energy has got many different benefits and energetic, different plants have got different energetic signatures, and these are all very helpful with matching vibrations of specific things you might want to do. Some plants have much higher frequencies than others. However, plant food is much more closer to energetic food, good energy food, than the animal product food. This is not to say that we will that we condone one type of lifestyle. However, it is still the human choice. It is still the human choice to decide which experience they want to enter into. Please, will you repeat part of the question in parts?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
So the first part of the question was, what are some tips for me to manage my time best for aiding in achieving a peaceful earth that is a vegan protopia?
Okay, Cambria. So your Your aim is really to help with the awareness of this type of lifestyle. And we want to really say to you, well done. You have many great ideas, and there are many things that you can do that you're already doing that is making a difference. Every conversation you have, especially when you have it from a place of love, is helpful, and we thank you for that. The best way to manage your time, first of all, is to really take better care of yourself. When you take care of your physical health, by eating the correct types of foods, with this we mean natural foods, not processed foods, food that has grown, and also getting more sleep. This will really help you. And then it is important for you and many like you to have a routine, have a morning routine, have a nighttime routine, and have a work routine that works best for you. Make sure this routine or schedule is quite flexible, so that when you need to be in flow, you can do that. Another very important part of taking care of yourself is spending time in meditation and connection, and also doing other things that will feed you. Because what happens in this case, something that we feel is very important for humans to understand about time management, is that it's very much influenced by energy management. So doing things that feeds you and helps you to look after your health, all the different layers of health, like emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual, all those different layers need to be taken care of. And when you do this, you will have more energy, and sometimes it will even feel like time is standing still if you do this correctly. So living a balanced lifestyle and having a schedule will really help you. It is also important that you take activities that go together and really integrate them into one activity. Because what this will do for you is it will free up more time. And even though time is an illusion, it is still part of the three-dimensional existence. So we understand that you need to work within these constructs. So let me give you an example. For example, you could combine meditation and walking. Therefore, you are feeding your physical body with exercise, but you are also feeding your energetic or spiritual body with meditation. So a meditative walk is an example of doing two things at once that will free up time for you. There are even some activities where you can do 3-in-1 things. So really look into what is important for you, what feeds you, and integrating those things with things that you have to get done. Also, in terms of spreading the message, we would like to encourage you not only to use social media, but to start doing talks in your local neighborhood, educating people. And it's very, very, very important that you do not become reactive when speaking to people, but really, really come from a place of love and understanding. Not everybody is ready to take the step, so please have grace for people. I hope this answers your question, and if you want any more clarification, please let me know. We are here to help.
Great, thank you very much. I see Mela's got a question. So Mela says, I've noticed that everything in the universe moves, vibrates, nothing rests. Does stillness exist at all anywhere in the multiverse?
In terms of energy, this is a good question. Stillness is stillness is not really, it's kind of an illusion. So stillness is something that happens when you quiet the mind, That's the only true stillness. When you quiet the mind and you enter and connect with the rest of the universe. However, even this is not truly still. It gives the illusion, more an illusion of stillness, but that is the most still that anyone can get. So in terms of this desk, for example, that is in front of Michelle, it seems still, but it is not truly still because of the energy that keeps moving. So quite correct, especially when we look down to the smallest particles and we look at energy itself. It never really rests.
Great, thank you. So I've got a question from Michelle. Many people ask about transitioning into 5D, and it is often considered equivalent to heaven. What are the requirements to ascend into the fifth dimension?
Oh, this is such a great question. So many people are interested in knowing when the fifth dimensional, when human consciousness will transcend into fifth dimension, and what it's about and what it will be like. And we have answered those kind of questions before, and so have some of the other entities that Michelle channels. But this truly gets a lot more to the point. And this is an understanding the following. And that is, in order to move completely into the fifth dimension, you have to understand the dimension you're in first. You have to understand everything about living in the third dimension. You have to understand why it exists, what it is there for, your purpose, what humans are, what all the different beings on planet Earth are, how energy works, how all the different facets of surviving and living and learning to balance everything in the third dimension. That is the only way you can start moving on. So that's why many people are able to move into the fourth dimension as well as the fifth. However, they cannot reside in the fourth and fifth dimension permanently. Fourth dimension is more possible because this is more where time resides, and third dimension is more where space resides. So every time you're adding a different layer to a dimension, there is more to understand and balance and master. So to truly ascend to the next dimension, you need to master living. This is so when we say you need to understand everything about this dimension, we do not mean you have to have all the knowledge that exists in this dimension. We merely mean that you need to be able to fully integrate in the third dimension, fully understand all your different parts, emotional, mental, physical, energetic, and truly understands how your being exists and works, and truly understand how everyone else, the human consciousness, how all of that works and why we are here and what the purpose is here. And it's only the people that truly understand this and grasp most of these concepts, and not only understand it with their minds, but also within themselves, within their hearts, if you like. It's only those people that are functioning a lot more in the fourth dimensional field and are more free to visit the fifth dimension, but still has to integrate into the third. Nobody is excluded from functioning in the third dimension. And we also think it's very important that you understand that you signed up to be in the third dimension at the moment, and there is still experiences for you to experience here. There is a reason why you're here. So embrace your life in the third dimension, enjoy it, experience it, enjoy everything there is to experience. because this is the point of being here. It's learning. This is a wonderful playing field. This is a great dimension to learn and work in, and to master energy as well. And that is part of one of the biggest reasons why beings come and incarnate into the third dimension, is for the amazing experiences. There are many sensual experiences and physical experiences that one cannot experience in any other way. We look at you, and even though we have experienced third dimensional living before, it wasn't quite what you are experiencing now, because we have had different places that we've experienced it in. So it is a truly amazing dimension that you are currently in, on this earth plane. So really fully enjoy and learn the mastery of energy, emotional, mental, and physical.
Great, thank you. Just to follow on that question, dimensions are thought of as physical places. Is this true, or is there more to understand?
Dimensions are not truly physical. We feel that it may appear this way. So you mentioned the fifth dimension earlier, and that it's thought of as heaven, and this is where people understand the ascended masters are residing in. And to some extent, this is true. But the truth is that each dimension has got a different level, a different thing to add to it that changes your perception. So the different dimensions are more about a different perspective, a different perception than actual physical places. It is more an expansiveness, an expansion of consciousness, the next level of consciousness. So every time there's a different element added to a dimension to experience more perspectives and more, and in a different way. Does this answer your question?
I think so, yes. Thank you.
We would also just like to mention something about the Ascended Masters. So many of the Ascended Masters are not truly just one being. And with this in mind, please understand that the humans that were embodied, whose bodies were physically in that plane, they have ascended to the fifth dimension, and a part of them is in the fifth dimension. However, many of the beings, collectives that incarnated into physical form to teach humankind, like the Buddha and Jesus and many of the others, they are collectives, and many of those collectives are not from the fifth dimension. Many of those beings reside in other dimensions as well, or much higher dimensional beings. But it is more that they needed an anchor in the fifth dimension. So, to be honest, the collectives like this often operate in different dimensions to teach mastery of certain things. And we just felt it's important to clarify this point.
Okay, great. Thank you. We have another question from Melo. He asks, how can we observe or confirm the subtle effects of crystals?
There are many ways to experience crystals. Again, we're going to focus again a little bit on the mastery of the different levels of your consciousness, and go through them all a little bit. First, let's talk about physical. You can experience crystals physically, not only by holding them, and sometimes you can feel them warm up, but you can also hold the crystal. Michelle has a crystal here. You can also hold the crystal and just keep doing this, waving your hand over it.
Can you lift your hand a bit more? There we go.
Just wave your hand over it, keep doing that. And as you do that, you will start feeling yourself entering into the field of the crystal. Michelle is currently experiencing warm sensations every time her hand goes over the crystal. So this is in the physical sense. You can connect with that crystal in that way and experience its energy in that way. And this obviously is also connected to the energetic level. Then another way in which you can experience or communicate with these higher dimensional forms is to focus on them. Again, physical touch is quite important with crystals, or having them in close proximity will help you match energy or receive energy from that being. So you can also go into a meditative state and close your eyes and do deep breathing. Just go into a relaxed meditative state with a crystal, and crystals can be placed in specific areas on the body to activate, perhaps, for example, certain chakras. But you can also, for example, just hold it in your hand and look at it with your third eye. So you picture this crystal in your hand and then try and see its aura, for example. Try and pick up, perhaps through other senses like auditory or clairsentience, pick up any other signals that you may receive from this crystal. And this will actually, the crystal in this way can actually communicate with you and allow you to gain some understanding and knowledge of what its purpose is and what it can help with. And then, of course, if you, for example, if you actually have some knowledge about the crystal, you can be very intentional by using that crystal intentionally. So meditating, for example, with a crystal on your third eye, one that is good for activating the third eye, will really help you to connect with that crystal, as well as enhance your experience. What else do we need to focus on? We spoke about the physical, we spoke about the energetic. Oh, crystals can also be used in emotional work. And it can also help with mental work. It can help with memory. It can help you with downloads. They really are very, very wonderful entities and have numerous applications, and they each have their own energy as well, energy signatures that you can interact with. Is there something else? Was this perhaps a part of the question that we did not answer?
No, I think you answered that question quite well. I've got a follow-up question that just came to me. Can you explain to us, maybe in a bit more of a simple manner, what crystals actually are in terms of, you call them entities. So I would like to know, we see them as minerals that come out of the ground or things like that, but from what they can do for us and things, it seems that there's a lot more behind them than just that.
Yes, definitely. So crystals are denser energies, but often contain streams of consciousness from higher dimensions. And different crystals will actually be associated with different dimensions quite often as well. And truly, it is very similar. It is very like the way that water can receive energy and contain memories. It's something very similar. So the entities can be, or the streams of consciousness, we can say, can embody these beautiful stones, and that energy that they resonate with, the stone resonates with. So it's sort of a mutually beneficial symbiosis, if we can put it that way. So even though the crystals, we will talk about the earth crystals, there are different kinds of materials and substances like this on different planets and in different star systems and different dimensions. And they all have their own special, unique signatures. So the ones on Earth are made from the physical Earth, and the Earth actually has a part to play in that. And as you know, the Earth is an entity as well. So she helps create, just like a mother would give birth to a baby, and that baby is incarnated into form in that mother's womb before it gets born. The same way the Earth creates, physically creates these crystals, and sometimes with the help of the cosmos. So those crystals that are made together with the Earth and with extraterrestrial material like a meteor. So sometimes there's more co-creation that happens, and of course the energetic manifestations, the energy that combines with these substances, and sometimes new, unique beings come into existence. It's just another way for greater consciousness to experience different parts of reality. That is, it is quite an interesting thing for us to explain, but I hope you can understand what we meant.
I think so, yes. Thank you. Okay, another question from Melo. He asks, how do the planets affect human lives? And does this apply to beings on other planets as well?
Yes, most definitely. So just as the Earth has got a consciousness, other planets have consciousnesses too. They are also entities in their own right. Their satellites are entities. And it comes down to everything being made up of energy. So certain planets, just like certain people or certain beings or certain races or certain species, would have a specific energy signatures. In the same way, planets have that too. And as you know, we are all connected. So we have often observed that humans tend to think that when we say we are all connected, they are thinking mostly of humanoid forms. Or sometimes they would include animals in this, but not even always. But many seem to neglect the rest of the universe, the rest of the energy out there. It is not only made up of humanoids and extraterrestrials and humans and beings like this, and spaceships and all of those types of things. It is made up of everything in the universe, including the planets. So therefore, let's take Mother Earth for example. Let's take the moon as an example. The moon is a satellite, and in spite of whatever experiments and so on, the different beings there are conducting, it is still has its own energy and its own energy signature. And Earthlings, including the animals, including the ocean, including the humans, including everything on Earth, can often feel the energy of the moon quite clearly. And some are much more sensitive than others. But when there is a full moon, it definitely has an effect on the beings that live here on Earth. And they're much more connected with this energy because it's in their own atmosphere. And in the same way that they can experience the Earth's energy. However, whichever entities or star systems or planets you connect to or comes across your path or affects the Earth or the Moon, all of these affect each other's energy, and in the bigger picture will affect people's energies, especially those that are more aware of it. And yes, it definitely does affect other entities and other races as well in the same way.
Okay, great. Thank you. I've got a question that relates to other planets and stuff. So with us here on Earth and all the things we've been learning recently, the ETs that we encounter here on Earth, most of the time, to me, it seems like they're from different dimensions. So they've traveled here, not in a spaceship like we would think and things like that. So my question is actually, are there other planets out there that are in full third dimension that are maybe going through similar stuff to us? Not necessarily humanoid, but living fully in the third dimension, as opposed to the ones that we're encountering here, which have gone up a few dimensions.
Yes, certainly. But just as they are constrained by 3 dimensions, this is perhaps why you're not always able to communicate with those, is because they also lack the technology or the physical constructs to make contact with you. But yes, there are numerous other planets and systems that have fully 3-dimensional beings on it of different species. Not all of those have societies. Some of them are much wilder than planet Earth, and some are very much have civilizations and so on, but very different, perhaps. There are humanoids as well, and there's insect type beings that are more dominant on some of these systems. There are reptilian-like species that are more dominant on some systems. However, the variety is vast. And also think of the fact that you can travel in outer space. In the space around you, you can physically travel as well with spaceships, physical spaceships like the ones that you have built in human form. And you can physically visit many planets. However, if the other dimensions are not clear to you or have not been revealed to you, you do not understand it yet, or have a full understanding, you will not be able to see perhaps some of the beings that live on those planets because they are actually residing within another dimension. So in terms of physical 3-dimensional reality, it still exists everywhere else in the universe. In fact, all the dimensions exists everywhere. So it's not really a matter of places, but dimensions are not really physical. I hope this answers your question.
Yes, it does. I see Mela's got a follow-up for this one. So do these beings exist in a natural 3D matrix, or are they kept in 3D artificially, like us?
So the answer is yes to both. There are those, so those would be the much wilder societies, if we can call it that way. Those are much more in a natural state. There are some civilizations that are in a matrix, that are in matrices like this one, but it is not quite the same. There are some that are also being controlled, like here, but some of those experiments are a lot smaller than the Earth one. The Earth experiment is a huge experiment. that many different races and species have taken part in, including the earthlings themselves. So to answer your question, yes, it does exist in other places, but it's those experiments are smaller scale. There is one experiment that is bigger, but there are also many other dimensions involved in that space as well. So it's quite a tricky thing for us to try and explain in terms that you would understand. I do not think anybody possesses an understanding of it that we could explain it in a way that would make sense to you. All we can say is that there are some that are in experiments or in being observed. Of course, everyone who enters an experiment is a volunteer at some point or another. So nobody lives in an expression unless they want to experience it. Yes, but those experiments, the way we can put it is that they have different objectives than the Earth experiment.
Okay, great, thank you. And then just another question on this. So we incarnate here on Earth, and we live all our lives simultaneously, but some of those lives could possibly be on one of those other planets in a different 3D world, where we are not humanoid, or wherever it might be. But am I right in saying that we could incarnate in one of those worlds as well? There's nothing stopping us from doing that.
Absolutely, this is possible. Yes, many actually remember some lives on other planets and other dimensions, because it's not only in those dimensions, but also in other, not only on those planets, but also in other dimensions that you can choose to incarnate in. This, of course, to put it in a way that's maybe understandable, this would be the future. The higher dimensional would be a future perspective of you, future in terms of the fourth dimension, in space, in time. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a bit distracted, Michelle. Yeah. That's why the channeling is not coming through. Is clearly they're struggling a bit to come through. So they were showing me. They were showing me that, for example, there's one place that they kept showing to me during the previous question as well, which have got insect-like creatures living on it. And in fact, they look quite mantis-like, to be honest. So I'm not sure if these are the mantis beings that we're always hearing about. Those are supposed to be very higher dimensional beings. So I'm a little bit confused about what I'm seeing. But they are worlds that seem kind of wild. So these are the worlds that are not being experimented on, but that, yes, and they're showing me, for example, that you could have a perspective living like that, living wildly. However, most of the beings that are here currently on Earth have already experienced something like that and wants to experience a more civilized or a different kind of, they want to have these earthly experiences, and that's why people that are here came in here. And some, of course, have never been to Earth and are living their first expression on Earth because they wanted to come in and help and assist humans to live here. So that is what they were showing me. And then as for the other experiments, there's very few humans that would have lived those expressions. It's more the humans that are what people think of as star seeds, even though everybody's got extraterrestrial DNA in their bodies and in their beings. But those star seeds are the many of those that have maybe not lived on Earth before the current expression that they're experiencing, the current perspective. Many of them would have come from some of those other civilizations in third dimension. Okay, I'm going to try and get the connection again with Morowell. Okay, please proceed.
Great, thank you very much. Got another question from Mela. What are the differences between real souls and projections on Earth?
There is not really any difference, unless we misunderstand what you mean with souls projected on Earth. If you think of yourself as a soul projected on Earth, the truth is that projection is still a reality. Everything that you think of as illusion, the holographic experience, this is part of your reality. Reality is an illusion in itself. So if you understand that greater consciousness, that all beings of different types are part of greater consciousness, and that greater consciousness was first just one dimension, and then as it transcended through each dimension, it wanted to experience more. So you can think of this as a god, if you like, but this, for the sake of the explanation, it might be simpler to think of as God. God was alone, and then he wanted to create. So if you think about the creation stories of different religions here on Earth, God created, so for example, the biblical one, man in his own image. And this is truly just another expression of God, another perspective that this God entity wanted to experience, this greater consciousness, this all of us. So any holographic experience you're experiencing is part of that greater consciousness that wants to experience a different perspective of one being. Does this make sense?
Yes, makes sense to me.
Melo, please let us know if we understood your question.
Thank you. I want to ask one of Michelle's questions quick. Why do so many people suffer from food sensitivities? Are there any energetic, emotional, or mental reasons for food sensitivities, and can they be healed?
Okay. We understand why Michelle's asking this question. Michelle has suffered from food sensitivities for a long time. And many people that are born into a specific incarnation has this issue. And as people become more aware of what is in their food, and they become more aware of what the food does to their bodies, the more aware they will also become of sensitivities. And what this really truly is, the bottom line, is that on the most basic level, this is about energy. And this is about the fact that certain substances or foods does not resonate with the specific being. So the energy signatures don't match well with a specific person. However, this can be healed or changed. Let's rather call it changed than healed, because truly this is what healing is. It's a kind of transmutation or a change in their energy. So a person can change this by deciding that they are no longer sensitive to this. But there's also another cause of food sensitivities, and this could have a karmic root. So in previous lifetimes, if a person has had a lot of dealings with certain energy or certain food, perhaps they worked with wheat, for example, a lot, and perhaps they died from something like that. That traumatic experience in another lifetime could have influenced their sensitivity in this lifetime. So really, we would say in terms of healing it, it's first of all important to get to the root of why it exists. What is the energetic reason? This is the most basic thing. What is the energetic reason for that sensitivity? It does come into emotional as well, but that is a lot more in the physical sense in a way. Take, for example, the fact that sugar and processed foods that's got very low vibrations and low energy signatures. So if your vibrations are raising and you have operate in higher frequencies, then those foods will probably not serve you anymore. But the point is that those energies also affects your emotions. So let's say sugar and processed food, if you have got a neurological condition, it could influence the emotions in that sense. But it would influence anyone's emotions, but with those with certain pre-existing conditions, it would make it even worse. And yes, so those neurological conditions are also usually a change in human physical. It's kind of like connected to evolution. Some of the neurological conditions that exist, it's got something to do with evolution. We do not want to go into too much detail about this. However, it is very important to become aware of the energy of food. So that you can understand if you resonate with that food or whether you do not. And sometimes there is a root cause, especially if the food that you have a sensitivity to is natural. When you are sensitive to man-made things, colorants and things like that, or a GMO food that has been tampered with, then this is just usually a signal that that food is just not going to resonate with you if you are living in higher frequencies. And then also those that are maybe not quite in that high frequencies yet, part of their mission on earth is to raise their vibrations, to want to live in higher frequencies. So it might not resonate with them from when they are first born as well. And then if the food is natural food, let's say it's a fruit. Fruit has got a very high vibrations and is a wonderful source of energy for humans. So if you are having a food sensitivity to something that is high vibrational, then it is also very important to go and find the root cause of it. Especially perhaps it could be an influence from another lifetime.
Okay, great, thank you. I see time's almost up, but I want to ask Michelle's last question. So Michelle says, I have recently learned that manifestation is made up of different layers: physical, mental, energy, and karmic layers. Which layer is the most important to work on and why?
Okay, so all of these layers have got their benefits and their reasons for being there. However, the karmic layer, in terms of manifesting exactly what you want to, what you are visualizing, for example, manifesting that from this plane, the as above plane, as many people refer to it, to the as below plane, which is the physical three-dimensional reality. So getting it from the energy layer into the physical layer, The most important layer to work on is the karmic layer. And however, it is important to be said that energy blockages in any of these levels need to be removed in order for the manifestation to happen properly. When you are fully in line, when your soul is shining with clear purpose through, and you are embodying your higher self, you should be able to manifest instantly. Of course, when you have mastered this, you will no longer need to be living on the third dimensional plane, and you will ascend. So it is truly in mastering this level of manifestation and clearing all the different blockages that you will move closer to manifesting instantly in this plane. But it is possible for everyone to learn to do this. But it takes a lot of practice and a lot of work and a lot of shifts. And it is in the karmic layer that many souls struggle and are blocked to manifest what they truly want to manifest. And when you get down to the karmic layer, so the soul level, with other words, when you get to the soul level and you start clearing at the soul level, it usually ripples out to the other layers of a person's life.
Great. Thank you very much. I think our time's up. So I just want to thank you for coming and joining us today and answering our questions. It was great.
You're very welcome. Thank you for the enlightening discussions. We love your questions, everybody. And thank you for taking part and speaking to us.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. If you like that, please like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and then you will be notified when there's going to be another live channel. I'm also doing guided meditations on this channel that I record, and soon I will start doing some teaching videos as well. So let me know in the comments below if there's anything that you want to learn about, or if there's anything in this live channeling session that you found enlightening and could apply in practical life. Any comments at all that you have, please comment below. I would really appreciate it. Sorry, I've still got them here in the back of my head. So yeah, thank you very much. And thank you to Morowell for joining. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Bye.